The Order 1886 has received quite a bit of flack from the gaming media, but at the end of the day, should you play it? Is it actually worth your time? Join me today in discussing some of the title's features and you might just get your answer. Hello everyone, Rurikhan here with TGN coming at you with another video, and today we'll be talking about the top 5 features of the Order 1886. Now before we get started, I am aware that a big chunk of the discussion around this title right now is its length, so I'd like to address that particular talking point from the get-go. It took me about 6 hours and 30 minutes to beat the game in normal difficulty, and yes, if you play it on easy and rush through everything, you can probably complete it in 5 hours, maybe even less. So if length and replayability is a big deal for you, then maybe you shouldn't play the Order 1886, or maybe you should just get it once it's discounted. I can't help but feel that players often place too much value on game length. I mean, Vanquish and God of War 3 weren't that long either, but they were still really good. Cinematic experience. The game was designed around the idea of meshing gameplay with cutscenes, and it does it pretty well. All the cutscenes are played out with the game's engine, which allows the Order to move from cutscene to gameplay seamlessly. There's also a great use of depth of field and all kinds of movie filters, which will give the whole experience a cinematic feel even when you're shooting bad guys in full control of your character. This kind of experience, however, does come hand in hand with plenty of cutscenes and several quick time events which will be present throughout the game and might turn some players off.
Stop for a pint, did you?
Gunplay. The Order 1886's gameplay is essentially that of a third-person cover-based shooter, and from that perspective, the Order's gunplay delivers a great experience. Good variety with each weapon providing you with different playstyles, good cover mechanics, decent AI, and there's even a short bullet time mechanic you can use when you get overwhelmed. Cool weaponry. As we mentioned previously, the variety of weapons present in the Order 1886 is pretty good, with each weapon supporting different playstyles to keep things fresh. However, once you bring Nikola Tesla's technology into the mix, that's when things get real interesting, like the thermite gun, which shoots out thermite pellets that can then be ignited with a flare, creating massive explosions and fireballs. Or maybe you prefer the arc lance, which basically shoots out lightning that outright destroys your enemies. Or how about this weird electrical rocket launcher of death and destruction?
Fuck the army. This is my fight.
Visuals, animation, and attention to detail. The Order 1886 is a beautiful looking game. The high-resolution textures and detailed character models go a long way to making its universe more believable and sports some of the best visuals seen on the console so far. But that's not all. The attention to detail that was placed in order to better immerse the players in this universe is amazing. From the tiles in the underground tunnels to the characters' faces, and even the fact that some of the weapons were built taking into consideration technology that existed at the time, it's just impressive. And to top off all this visual eye candy and authenticity, we have solid animation work. From the cutscenes to the melee takedowns, the way characters react when they get hit, it all just feels very realistic and incredibly well executed. Setting and characters. This title creates an alternate version of Victorian London where you'll play the role of a badass knight from an order that dates back to the days of King Arthur and whose sole purpose was to fight werewolf creatures known as half-breeds to protect the people of London. The characters you meet as you play through the game actually feel like three-dimensional characters that have been fleshed out and not just NPCs that are there for the sake of the story. Something that really makes these characters stand out is also the voice acting, which is quite simply top-notch in the industry at the moment. The universe that Ready at Dawn has created for the Order is actually very interesting, detailed, and full of potential. At the end of the day, whether or not you'll enjoy the Order 1886 depends on how much the setting that the game takes place in appeals to you and how much value you place on the length of a video game. In my personal opinion, the gameplay is solid and the experience is pretty good. The story, despite not being mind-blowing, keeps the narrative moving forward at a steady pace. But the game's strongest asset has to be the attention to detail that was placed in creating this universe and making it a believable setting for the story. How much value each gamer places on this feature, however, is an entirely different discussion. So what's your take on The Order 1886? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe to TGN for all things gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.
Fulton deployment in 5, 4, 3, 2,
Incoming! All devices off!
1.
Oh, I almost forgot to mention a very important detail that is revealed during The Order 1886, and that is the fact that Galahad is actually Batman.
Where is she? Where are they? Tell me!